is up, Robot Wars fans? Hardcore Kid here with the grand finale of the Hardcore podcast. To my left, as always, he finally made his return. It is Otaku Nate.
Empty spaces, what are we living for? Abandoned places, I guess we know the score. On and on.
Alright, that's enough.
Sorry, I was just getting into the mood of the moment, man.
Absolutely.
My
This was a fantastic grand finale of Series 10. But before we move on to the review, we must talk about our guests. And we had to make this extra special, so we brought along the pioneers of the Robot Wars reviewing podcast. Starting with the guy who started it all, Mr. Sam Elliott, 64.
Hi, I'm finally on this one. I've not done this. I've not been with you guys ever. I mean, I think the only time that we've recorded together, Brandon, was what we wanted to see for Series 10, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was on your show. That was a lot of fun, and we needed to have you on the show at least once. And what better way than the grand finale?
It's absolutely my pleasure.
Yeah. You're not the only guest on here. Who else do we have, Nate?
Well, we have the guy who's doing episode-by-episode reviews of the classic series, and our guest from the north, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. JimJamatic.
Hi, this was the best grand final ever. Just laying it out. But yeah, thanks for having me on. I haven't been here since the first heat of the series, so nice to be back.
And because we needed a third guest on here, who are you, third guest?
I am the reserve. I am the Tenty Jester, and looks like we got ourselves an intergenerational bloodbath.
Ooh, delightful.
Interestingly enough, Owain Ratcliffe, Tentagester is Welsh.
Whatever you want.
So
I don't care.
All right, but yeah, Owain's from Wales, which means Brandon and we've officially interviewed everyone from the British Commonwealth.
Woo! we got the Worm guy from Scotland. We got Owain from Wales. We got Sam from the South.
Yeah.
I'm not the South, the Midland. Yeah.
But if you were to enter Annihilator, you'd probably be in the South anyway.
And Jim's.
I don't know, because like you look at the Annihilators in the past, like they consider bloody Oxford in the north. That's not the north. But anyway,
No.
that's beside the point.
Yeah, and Jim's obviously north, so...
Yeah, and finally we've had Vote Saxon from Northern Ireland.
Mm-hmm.
And for the international special, I believe, coming up in a few weeks, we're gonna see if we can get Leo van Meert, who was originally from Holland, but I believe he's in Belgium now, so we want to add a little international flavor. So, that should be a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, the Series 10 Grand Final. What can we say about it?
It was
honestly, go on, you guys first.
It was just a blast.
I have never I've never experienced such a rush of emotion from all areas while watching a single episode of Robot Wars. This may be the single greatest episode in the show's entire run. And I don't mean the classic.
I completely agree.
I don't mean the modern I mean in both the modern and the classic series.
Yeah, I absolutely had a blast watching this episode. There was a lot of great matches. The 10-way, I think, lived up to its expectations. Although some actually said it was the worst match of the episode, and I'm like, really?
No.
Those people are morons.
No.
No. You people are crazy.
Mm-hmm.
My thing with this grand final was like there was no watching it through, and I've obviously watched it back through for my own podcast, which I'm going to do at some point in the future. I don't know when it's going to be, but it'll be at some point. Watching it through, there's not one moment where I'm thinking, Joe, what, this is really, really boring. Like throughout Series 8, throughout Series 9, there was moments where I thought, I don't really care for this. And there was not one moment in the grand final where I thought, wow, this is boring. Every fight was on the edge of your seat. Awesome. It was great.
Yeah.
Really final. I'm not sure if it was the best episode ever. I'll have to rewatch my favorite, the first Extreme Annihilator. But I will say it's definitely up there.
Jim, how about you?
Well, I just thought it was bloody amazing. You know what I mean? It was. I mean, just to start off with a 10 Robot Rumble alone is like you after that you're just like, okay, cover a break. Nope, awesome grand final time, and you never get a break from awesomeness. And as Sam said, there's never really a boring moment in this grand final. Every match I was looking forward to the conclusion because I really wanted to know what was how it was going to play out, and it was definitely something I was on the edge of the seat for.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. This is everything that Robot Wars needs to be, has to be, and always will be.
I was laughing. I was laughing. I was clapping along. I was going, whoa! And by the end, I was crying.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like the feels at the end were just unbelievable. I think it was really nice because we got to see a real nice, journey and a great story told as well, which I think is really important with this kind of show. You need to see a human element to it, and there definitely was that. I mean, obviously we won't spoil the winner just yet. So if you're still watching this and you haven't seen the final yet, go and bloody watch it, and then we're going to talk about it.
Why are you doing a review when you haven't watched the original yet?
You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised.
Yeah. Obviously, there was a little kerfuffle with Jim and Owain. I think Jim actually gave away the wild card winner before the grand final actually aired.
Yes, I did. Like literally the day before as well. Literally the day before as well.
It's not something you're going to live down, James.
No. Oh well. But
I will say this though. I actually kind of knew who the wild card winner was going to be because the Nudniks at BBC, when they were airing the commercials, I believe it was the commercial that had the Hall of the Mountain King theme playing, but they actually showed a shot of Rapid, Magnetar, and Eruption in the arena
together. Yeah,
and it's
they
like,
did.
you idiots.
In fairness, though, a lot of people didn't notice that, which is actually really good. I know the BBC get a lot of flack for spoilers, and yes, I know they do have a lot of spoilers in their trailers and such, but in fairness, that one was quite hard to spot.
Oops.
Yeah.
Although, unless you're like me and have to rewatch the preview and just have to pause every now and then to see what robots are fighting.
I was punished I was punished for being diligent. That was my problem.
Yeah, but we might as well talk about the episode now. We'll start critiquing each of the machines, starting with.
Oh, Brandon, I object to this. Mostly because we've already talked about these machines before, and I think we should just sort of talk about them as they went along. And I say we just get right to the fights.
All right. I guess
10-way rumble.
Yep.
10-way rumble.
The Robot Royal Rumble.
Do
Also,
I have to mention every robot in this rumble?
Oh yeah.
All right, here we go. Or
you
want to say, Jim?
I'll say straight away, I absolutely adore the stuff they stuck on top of Traction. After Flop.
And Will Thomas's face.
So.
Oh, so that's where the meme came from.
It was just his face. Yeah, that's what they got. That's what they got the editing decision to put his face up randomly.
This was filmed in what May, and this was before Will's face even became a meme. But Traction, they pretty much came up with it first, just sticking Will's face on top of it. Of course, you know what this also means. Will Thomas has in fact been in every grand final of the rebooted
Legend.
Yes.
One of only two things to be in every grand final of the reboot.
Apollo.
Hyde and Will Thomas.
Apollo.
And Apollo.
Yeah.
And Magnetar, technically.
And
Pulsar
Carbide.
Magnetar. And Thor.
Okay, we've established I'm not very...
All right, let me see if I can... I didn't even write this down on the pad, but I'm going to name every robot in this rumble. Eruption. Terahertz. Thor. Big Nipper. Apollo. Concussion. Sabretooth.
Traction.
Expulsion. And...
Iron 06.
Iron 06.
Wedge.
Because
The godfather of the flipper.
It's understandable why you forgot it, because in fairness, it did bugger all in this entire
I felt really
battle.
bad for Iron 06.
I did.
Apparently, I'm speaking to a few of the teams that were there, obviously. And I think it was Matt Smith from Hobgoblin who said that they had a problem with their radio or something like that. They were using an old old radio system or something like that, and that's why they couldn't fire their flipper. It was working in the test arena, but with all the lights and such in the main arena, it was just kind of, it was causing problems and interference, and that's why their flipper wasn't working. It was working fine, it just, they couldn't get the signal through, which is a real shame.
Yeah, it was one of the biggest disappointments of the series was, unfortunately, not seeing the massive flipper not flip anything once.
Yeah.
But also, props to Expulsion for the camouflage paint, which we didn't really get to see.
That was great. That was fantastic.
Because unfortunately, the meatball windmill fell in the pit 2 seconds after the pit was let down, so we never really got to see the paint job in it as much.
Maybe they couldn't even see their machine out there going into the pit.
Probably not.
Aha, that makes sense.
And this begins the exciting game of how many robots can we fit into this pit?
Apparently,
I'll tell you what. All right, I was expecting more to go out of the arena, to go with Eruption, Apollo in there as well. You know, I was expecting at least 1 or 2 to go out of the arena. Terahertz nearly did. It was great, and I think, you know, in Series 8 there was too many pittings. Series 9 there weren't enough. I think there was 1 in the whole series, wasn't there?
2.
Something like that.
Well,
yeah.
Oh, sorry, Charles the Cheese, of course. How could I forget?
1.5 pittings. I call
1.5.
One was done off camera.
Yeah,
so.
and then I have to say, you know, seeing 8 robots in the pit at once was pretty satisfying. It was great.
Yeah. So, highlights of this match. First off, before the match started, we got the ultimate Jonathan Pierce quote when he said, "Tell my wives, all 162 of them, I love them." Who knew? Who knew that Jonathan Pierce had 162 wives?
He's a player. He's a player.
I thought he was wait, 162 wives. Jonathan Pierce is Mormon?
And I can bet that Matilda was one of them. Oh boy. So continuing highlights. Ironically, I think the weakest machines, that's my personal opinion, but the weakest machines went out first. Expulsion fell into the pit. Traction lost a track and ended up going in. Iron Awe followed suit, and then it was just anarchy from then on out.
It just drove right in, Expulsion did.
Yeah.
I mentioned it on my podcast, but one of my favorite highlights was watching John Reed tell off Sir Killalot.
Oh, yes. No,
picking up Terror.
Don't do it.
No, stop it.
That would have been bullshit if he did throw him out, because Terahertz wasn't dead yet.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It was that moment of just, no, stop it.
Yeah. I have to say, like, one of the, you know, a lot of people have criticized, some people have criticized Eruption for, like, sitting back in this melee. And I don't really understand why. I've seen some people say...
They did the smart thing.
Yeah, hang back and let everyone else kill each other, and then sweep up the mess. That's how you win.
It's as I said, you know, this is the Robot Wars Royal Rumble.
Yeah, you gotta keep yourself fresh and in one piece, because you still have another 3 matches to continue after this. If you completely wear yourself out in this match and go into the grand final just completely wrecked and completely blown up, you're probably gonna not make it the whole thing. But you know what? You got to give props to Eruption. Just hang back a little bit, and then as soon as the other machines have worn themselves down, you go in for the kill.
Wait for a good flip.
Wait for a good flip.
I mean, this is the reason why Eruption won the Rumble and why Terahertz and Apollo were dead.
I have to say, Terahertz, I was so gutted they didn't win the Rumble. Like, they were so close.
Yeah.
But actually, both Terahertz and Thor. I mean, Thor particularly, his axe just wasn't working in this.
Yeah, I noticed. Its axe was in the down
died very
position.
early on.
Yeah, and then I guess
very early on.
And then I guess Jason just gave up and drove into the pit.
And then it's kind of weird because, like, Sabretooth, this whole series has been a massive disappointment. And then it starts bloody working in the Rumble, and then it just drives down the pit.
No, I actually, it looked like Eruption. Oh, wait, no, I was thinking of Big Nipper. Big Nipper was really impressive in this melee, though. I'll say that.
Yeah. It was my win before
the part where it suplexed Apollo.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was great. And I hope you guys all enjoy the Fog of War, because we got to see it 3 times in this match.
At least in the big rumble, every obstacle was used. At least the house robots were there, the pit was there, the fog of war, the rogue house robots. You know, they all got some usage.
They even added another house robot midway through the fight. No one noticed it, but Dead Metal just suddenly appeared.
What were they thinking, having Dead Metal do a run-in at the end? just to have him not do anything.
He did. Probably got hold of someone, didn't
He
Eruption, I think. I don't know.
he? Yeah,
I think so.
I think he grabbed someone.
It was kind of weird. Like, why have Dead Metal come in at the end? Like, you have Shunt, you have Kill a Lot. What was Dead Metal gonna do?
Shunt and Kill a Lot were probably getting worn out by that time.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Well, if we get another Roadhouse robot.
Yeah. Ironically, this match lasted 5 minutes, so it lasted about as long as a classic Robot Wars battle.
Yeah.
I
Kind of
expected
weird
it
if
to
you
go
think about
10
it.
minutes, but no.
Yeah. I mean, another highlight I quite liked in this battle was it was relatively early on. It was when it was like the first big thing that Sabretooth did in the fight when it bodied Apollo. And Apollo
yeah.
went
Oh, that was
flying,
great.
No, Apollo went flying upwards, and both Sabretooth and Concussion just bump into each like a Wile E. Coyote routine. Like they just go donk, while Apollo's just flying, flailing about as it's trying to self-right.
That was pretty much Sabretooth's revenge against Apollo, because obviously the drum spinner didn't work in the heat, but then they came right back, and Apollo, I believe, lost drive, and then it was just stuck going in circles.
It was
for the rest of the match.
on one wheel, but the thing is, it was working on one wheel for a while, and then it just died.
Yeah, I mean, also supposed to there was something coming out of that, like the top panel on the flipper fell off as well. I think
Yeah,
Sabretooth-
Sabretooth ripped off as well. Sabretooth did a lot in this melee. I'm like, as much as I kind of wish we saw this Sabretooth in the heat. Really?
Yeah, because otherwise I probably would have given them more of a chance,
Yeah,
going into the Rumble. But
Yeah, well, you know what? With all said and done, this was still a fantastic Rumble. It was lived up to the hype.
It was a great spectacle, wasn't it?
Yes, it was, and I hope to see, if they do have a Series 11, they must have this again,
Please.
definitely.
which I'm
Please
sure
have
they
a Series
will.
11.
I would love to see them do an Annihilator as a special.
Yeah, bring back the special
Oh,
events. Like,
yes.
I've
Oh,
said in
yeah.
pretty much
Nah.
every episode, bring them back.
The thing is, though, all right, I can see the want for that, but the thing is, now we've had the 10 Robot Rumble, I just think an Annihilator would be pretty flat.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah, that's
it,
true.
It'd be
Because
it'd be 6 rounds, sure, yeah, but it's you've only got 6 robots instead of 10, you know.
Well, no,
Yeah.
the shows
and
are
you know,
also...
some of the machines actually went out in just like 30 seconds. So I'm pretty much the rounds would probably be pretty short anyway.
Well, the
Yeah.
the shows are longer, so I think they could do like an 8 robot Annihilator at this point.
That would
That would
be
be awesome.
Yeah, true.
that would be lipo battery melting awesomeness.
Yeah.
Or maybe just do a 10 robot down to 1. Like it'll be 9 fights, which is basically what a show is anyway. So
Easily do that.
Yeah, there you
but
go.
that'd be hard going 9 fights in a row. Whew.
Yeah. But yeah, in the end,
Well,
Eruption
like-
managed to. We got like a gigantic pit party. I believe 8 machines went into the pit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Terahertz got stuck
I
up
think
against
the-
the wall, and Apollo just died.
Yeah. So
Yeah, and Big Nipper, as try as it might, couldn't get out the pit.
One thing we haven't brought up about this though, and it's something that we were all anticipating, is the arena didn't break in this match.
Thank God.
Nope.
Well, there weren't any like huge
Yes.
overpowered spinners. It was mostly just flippers and lifters and a couple drum
drums.
I don't know,
spinners.
Concussion's pretty beefy.
Yeah, but I don't see it like killing the wall or anything.
True.
But yeah, this Rumble was fantastic, and Eruption gets the win and gets the final spot in the grand final. So
Deservedly so as well. They drove the perfect match.
yeah, absolutely, they saved themselves up, and they were in good condition going on through.
Of course,
Played
if
the smart
Eruption
game.
finds itself in the Rumble again, it's gonna have a big target on its back.
And well,
Yeah.
well, when you're the reigning champion, you know everybody's gonna go after you. So
Oh, spoilers! We haven't got there yet.
yeah,
God
so,
damn it.
so we'll move on to the regular matches, starting with what I consider the ultimate grudge match: Carbide versus Behemoth versus Nuts. Behemoth
This is
got
amazing.
Behemoth got the anti-spinner scoop on, and for the most part it worked. Like, it went up against Carbide, and Carbide was able to get a few big hits on the scoop, but it wasn't like completely destroying it.
Well, it's actually made out of aluminum, not titanium.
Yeah, so. But alas, it wasn't Carbide that beat Behemoth.
Oh,
It wasn't even Nuts that beat Behemoth. It was the pit. It was the little mini bot managing to get that hit on the pit button, and Behemoth just went down.
What?
Who would win?
Like,
Who would win? Not the most devastating robot in Robot Wars history, or one flaily boy?
What
one
impeccable-
googly boy.
What impeccable timing on
goodness.
behalf of that Nuts mini bot, because it got the pit button just as Behemoth was spun onto the pit.
And Anthony
was
Anthony
perfect.
proceeded to turn heel again. Holy crap.
Yeah. I mean, the precision hit by Nuts, too, was
Oh my god.
Oh,
In fairness,
that
fairness,
was
you know,
that was
they
the
can
hit
measure
of
up
the
to their
that was the
opponent, but
hit
even
of the
still.
entire show. Just Nuts just getting that perfect hit right on the chain and taking Carbide's weapon out. That was perfect.
Who would think that the best hits in this entire series were not by Carbide or Aftershock or, you know, from a flipping standpoint, Eruption or Apollo? It's Nuts who got some of the best hits in the series on the tire of Concussion, taking out Androne's hydraulic system, and now it takes out the chain of one of the most dangerous spinners in the UK.
You know what this means, though?
The most dangerous.
You know what this means, though? Mike Jeffries, if he ever decides to rebuild Bombshell, he's probably going to put a chain spinner on there, just so he can take out Tombstone's chain. Yeah.
I have to say, you know, this was great. Like, this was like, as you mentioned, like the ultimate grudge match in this series, and of all robots to win, Nuts. It's just kind of crazy. If someone had said to me, like, obviously, I kind of had a bit of an inkling because, you know, we built Flamingo with Nuts, so we knew a little bit was gonna, you know, they were gonna have some fun this series. But like, if you'd have told me before that, oh yeah, Nuts are gonna finish 4th or 3rd, I'd have said you're an absolute idiot. Like, it was amazing to watch them just carry on, you know, against all the odds, just keep winning. It was great.
And I'm not sure if I caught this whole thing because I was having buffering issues towards the end, but it looked like Carbide was almost about to be counted out because it got stuck on the mini bot.
That is perhaps the second most hilarious thing that happened in this battle. 110 kilogram Carbide running away from a featherweight.
Joe, I've never seen a more pathetic sight in my. I mean, you know, from my reviews, you might have noticed that I like those kind of sad moments, and most of them seem to be stationary. You got Terror stuck on the wall in the Rumble. You've got, you know, Evil Weevil 2 dying, and then you just have this moment. You've got the reigning champion, almost unbeatable from last series, just completely, or considered one of the most feared robots in the entire series of all time, and it's getting chased by a tiny little googly boy.
I think the best thing about this fight is, like, you know, Carbide up to this point has taken literally, okay, it's taken damage from Gabriel, but like last series it was unscathed, bar Ironside 3. You've not seen any physical damage on the machine. You know, it's always black and glossy. And it always looks nice. And this is the first time you see Carbide, you know, weakened. It's got, you know, it's got dents and scratches all over it where Nuts has been hitting it. It's just great. It's great.
Yeah.
It was poetic justice, I call it, because it goes back to if you watch their match in Series 8 where Carbide literally destroys Nuts, and if I told you a year later Nuts would get their revenge, you would think I was a mental patient or something.
Yeah,
exactly.
But you never expect Nuts to actually be the one to beat the Carbide streak.
And also wipe the smug face off Dave. That's kind of. I mean, he looked Joey like this wasn't supposed to happen. Oh, actually, Rory's face was even more priceless.
Oh yeah, that was
moment.
the best right at the end.
I was about to say, because usually whenever somebody wins a judge's decision, they always have this look of either awe or amazement or satisfaction on their face. Rory's just like, huh.
Utter confusion.
I'm sure. I think he knew he won, but he just didn't realize it at first. But it took like a few seconds to finally process the fact that he beat the reigning champion.
I guess he was just completely enamored by the phrase "Nuts 2 beat Carbide." You know.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think hearing that and doing that are two very different things.
Yeah. So
that's true.
Nothing much else to say about this match. Behemoth scuttled around the arena and fell into a hole in the floor, and Carbide got disarmed. So Nuts gets the surprise win.
I do want to say this about the match, and I've already said this to James and Nate, but I think Nuts actually takes the award for best precision hit in the entire series now.
Yes.
Well, we plan on doing a post-season 10 award show, so...
Yeah, this is up there for best hit. So.
Oh yeah. Waiting for a good hit. That's too.
Waiting for a good hit.
It is the John Reed Award.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's what I'm calling it. The John Reed Award for best hit.
So yeah, that pretty much covers that match. So we'll move on to the second three-way. Eruption versus Rapid versus Magnetar, and what a scrap this was. This was...
Oh yeah.
Anybody could have won this match.
Although one thing that did make me laugh off the bat is obviously, we were talking about Eruption's strategy in the 10 Robot Rumble to hang out the back. They did the same thing, and then the other robot's like, nope, you can't do this against us two. Because, like, where are you going to hide? Like, it's the worst timing.
Yeah,
to try,
Eruption-
and just...
Eruption... Magnetar got some good hits on Eruption.
Yeah, I was very disappointed with Magnetar because I thought they were going to win this match.
Me too.
But unfortunately, the technical gremlins caught up with them, and pretty much they
I
lost
think-
their drum, they lost their Shremek, and that was pretty much it for them.
I think if they'd just avoided going into Eruption too much more, I think they would have won it. I think the only reason they lost it was because they carried on trying to be aggressive, and they kind of ended up with Matilda.
Yeah.
Like, if I think they'd done enough by that point. Eruption's flipper was pretty much done.
Yeah, I was about to say, Eruptions seem to be having gas problems.
Uh-huh.
Well, they
Yeah.
probably used up all their gas, or maybe the flipper just kind of wasn't communicating with them.
I think that I'm guessing it's the latter.
Yeah, I was going to say, maybe because I know he's got two settings, like full power and like self-writing power. Maybe he was stuck on self-writing or something, I don't know.
Yeah, Rapid, though, meanwhile, they got trashed.
Yeah.
In this battle, I think there's like 2 or 3 occasions where it was like, Rapid's out? Is it out? Oh, no, it's working again. Oh, it's out? No, it's still going. And it finally gets, like...
It tore its elastic.
Yeah. It
I have
basically...
to say, like, I know a lot of people on Internet land give Rapid a lot of stick for spending all this money on a machine. It was so sad to see it ripped apart in this episode. I have to say, like, it really hurt me inside.
Yeah, and you know what? Considering they got stuck on their flipper, this wasn't the
was
worst
great.
thing that happened to them in
that
this
was
episode.
that was a great sight, but we'll get to their best moment when we get to the redemption
Oh
rounds.
my goodness.
My ears are burning.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but basically, Rapid got flipped, got stuck with the flipper wide open and couldn't do anything. Magnetar's drum and Shremek broke, so Matilda just got the big flip on Magnetar at the end, and I've heard quite a few people were pissed off at the house robots, but particularly some of us guys here in NERC, because they're like, bloody hell, all this fighting, and then you have to use the house robots to take out the Magnetar.
The thing is, you look at this fight, okay, and Magnetar's pushing Eruption in, but the thing is, Magnetar didn't need to go to the CPZ. They voluntarily went in there, so
Yeah.
it's their own fault.
Yeah, it's true. But also, I think, wasn't it Owain you mentioned a certain comment from... by...
Anderson.
Yeah, because Anderson's not the biggest fan of Eruption, but yeah, it was pretty pricey. I mean, Owen read the full thing out on my podcast, but it's a pretty salty comment. It's pretty it's pretty great.
Anderson lost his shit to me.
Hey Anderson, you want some?
I can't even show you the messages that he sent me. It was awful.
Hey
Oh, great.
Anderson, you want some fries with that salt?
Some chips.
Every time Eruption did well, I just thought to myself, Anderson's getting another vein on his forehead right now.
he had a full-on aneurysm. He had a full-on aneurysm yesterday. He really did.
Get the now.
He's the second angriest Robot Wars fan you've ever heard, behind Owain, of course.
Of course.
Of course.
Yeah.
Poor guy I think the poor guy had a heart attack on your podcast, Jim.
Yeah, that was funny.
Hey, I don't know what he was doing in that episode. He was going, or no, that was Owain. What am I thinking?
That was Owain.
I don't know. You both sound the same. If I had Owain and Anderson in the same podcast, I'd be like, oh, who's who?
Oh, yeah.
Who's more salty?
Well, you're a dummy then, Brandon, because I can tell them apart.
Yeah, well, I have trouble telling some people apart sometimes.
I do mix it up once, so I do deserve that.
Yeah, well, yeah, but that was the second three-way. Eruption managed to squeak win at the end, so we move on to the redemption rounds. Behemoth versus Magnetar. Now, I have to say, this is another situation where I guess they abandoned the one-wheel immobilization rule again. I have no idea what they're doing with that
So
rule now.
the rule is, if you can turn out of your own circumference, which Behemoth could just about do, you're still classed as mobile. So it was able, as much as it was going in circles, it was still able to move around the arena. Especially when it fired its flipper, it could move around the arena.
Yeah.
So they weren't being counted out fairly. Magnetar didn't need to go in again, and I think that's really. I don't want to say poor driving. It's not poor driving because he's trying to win.
He was trying to be aggressive.
He had
both fights won.
I think that's Ellis Ware's biggest problem as a Roboteer is that he's a good driver, but he's too aggressive at points.
Yeah, like again, like he has a fantastic machine, but sometimes I think he overestimates a little bit because
yeah.
Now obviously, right in this match, it looked like he was losing drive as well. Like he was having radio issues, and then all of a sudden it came back to life.
He forgot he didn't secure his aerial. That's what he said.
Yeah, so. But yeah, it looked like this was Magnetar's fight. But I will say, Behemoth. I hear some rumbling going down over there.
Don't worry, it's me.
But yeah, it looked like Behemoth got the first scoop in and got Magnetar over, but Magnetar was able to self-right. Then Magnetar just got a few big hits in, and Behemoth was lost one part of its drive and was going around in circles by the nefarious floor flipper. And then, just when it looks like Behemoth is gonna lose again, not like this, it managed to get that one flip in. Magnetar couldn't self-right, and luck is finally on Behemoth's side again. It manages to win a fight. In the grand final, no less.
Yay.
That was a hell of a lucky.
I mean, actually, one of those things is at first I wasn't sure exactly how. Obviously, I presumed it was obviously one of the big hits from Magnetar stopped it from working on one side. But when I rewatched it, you actually can see there's a bit at the front that's open, like one of the bit of the armor, and you can see when the wheels just bent inwards.
Yeah.
I noticed that Behemoth had drive on both sides. It's just one side was fully functional, but the other one just looked like it was struggling. It could move forward, but very slowly.
Behemoth, like throughout this final, had a lot of issues, really, didn't it? I mean, I think in this particular fight, I don't know if it was the wheel or the motor that caved in or something, but like in the fight against Eruption later on, they seem to struggle with gas, and I think that it's kind of a surprise because those guys have, they're low pressure, so they have a lot more flips, and it's kind of surprising, really.
Yeah, so I mean, the image I'm looking at on the wiki, you can see when the wheels really bent in on Behemoth. So I think it's like the axles bent in with the wheel or something, so it's just one side wasn't working at all.
It was probably one of the big hits from Magnetar. Just managed to grab onto that wheel. But yeah, Behemoth manages to get the surprise win at the end. Just one big lucky flip, and so it moves on to the semis. Woo! So we move on and now we must move on to the other redemption fight. Rapid versus Carbide.
Bye-bye, Rapid.
It was a twisted fire starter.
Oh
my god.
Hey.
I mean, we've had Fog of Thor, Fog of War. Unfortunately, there's no rapid pun you can make with this, but it definitely went.
Rapid exit. Smoke screen.
Yeah. It was very effective.
It actually pretty much was.
It did get a few good flips on Carbide, I will say that.
It was one of those things like when I first watched the fight, I thought, oh, the CO2's gone. Then it just increased, and I was like, okay, this is not CO2.
I think it was one of the batteries, wasn't it?
It
was a battery fight.
It looked like it was a battery, given the smoke.
I mean, it wasn't as bad as Chomplot's in Series 8.
I don't know, man.
Still.
I think it was the same kind of fire. It's just that Chomplot has a lot more open space in it, so you could probably see the flames more readily, whereas Rapid's a lot more compact. And I think what was great for me was like the Rapid team were loving it. That was the best thing.
Yeah.
I laughed so hard when Rapid burst into flames.
It turned into a 30,000-pound dumpster fire.
I felt so sorry for them. Like, I'm glad that Josh clearly doesn't. Not that he doesn't care, but like the money's no object to him. He's got the money to use. Okay, and the fact that he can go out there, spend all this money on Rapid, which is a beautiful machine, and watch it catch fire and just literally burn itself inward, is great. And I know a lot of people out there wanted to see this fight. They wanted to see Rapid against Carbide, and everyone got their wish. But for me, it was really sad.
I mean, in fairness, they almost got him out of the arena on one of the flips.
Yeah, if it had
was
just
just
carried
too-
on driving forward, he would have been fine.
Hmm.
Well, you know, I've heard of money burning a hole in your pocket, but this is ridiculous.
Oh dear, that was awful.
That was great.
You know what, though? To be fair, it looked like Rapid was going to get the upset because it was able to get under Carbide at the beginning, and it was pushing it towards the wall, and I'm like, oh boy.
Yeah,
It's going to get him out, but no.
That would have been silencing all the critics then, wouldn't it? That'd have been great.
Yeah. But...
But out of all ways to go, it was definitely a fantastic way to go.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Losing to the champions in fire.
And as I said, unlike the Chomp-a-Lot fire, which I honestly did feel, even when I watch it, I feel pain and remorse. I'm just laughing at this 30,000 machine going up in smoke
and flames, because it just completely burst right as soon as the match ended. And they had to get the fire guys in.
Angela's reaction to that was amazing.
I swear that there was so much CO2 and monoxide and lipo smoke in that arena.
Apparently,
it's got to be unbreathable at this point.
Apparently, they had to use the fog of war to try and get rid of the smell.
Oh my god!
Fog of war.
Well, there you go. Finally, fog of war got something good out of it. Yeah, but also to be and at least this was Rapid's last fight, because if it had to continue, like if it was round robin, there's no way it could have continued.
This is why we love the double elimination format.
Yeah.
Apparently, according to the team on Twitter, they actually was saying, you know, keep hitting us. It was obviously that was cut out, but which again, it's nice to see that, you know, that they could take a good beating.
I suppose at that point they had nothing to really lose if they're already out. If it was a round robin, it'd be kind of different, but
yeah. But yeah, this match was just craziness. It was complete insanity, just a huge cloud of pure cancer. But I loved it, and that's
yeah. It was a great scrap, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. So Carbide and Behemoth, they win the redemption fights and are back in the tournament. And we move on to the semis, and this was where the Cinderella story struck 12 for Behemoth. Because guess who they had to fight in the semis? The one robot it can't beat.
It's never beaten before.
Actually, I know in your podcast, Michaels did say that Behemoth had beaten them before, and I'm trying to guess when. Because they beat them in the 2013 live Robot Wars final. They beat them last year, and they beat them this year, so...
I think they have beaten them before, but like it's
maybe in a
generally it goes in Eruption's favor, because I think ultimately it's just a better flipper than Behemoth is.
Yeah. I thought Behemoth might have had a chance when it got that first flip in, but then Michael just went in total full blown kill mode and just kept flipping and flipping and flipping, and it was just
honestly it was cool just to see Behemoth doing somersaults through the air.
Yeah.
This is a 230-pound robot just going flying all over the place like nothing.
The one bit I liked is when after the initial bit with the Behemoth, when Eruption flipped Behemoth, like, oh, how can this get any worse? Lantern Dead Metal. Oh, come on. and the amount of times that Behemoth also out of the arena was just tense.
And was this the match, or was it the previous match where Kane had to climb onto the glass again?
I think it was this match.
It was this match again, yeah.
Yeah, they gotta reinforce that wall, otherwise he's gonna fall through that wall like WWE's Kane fell through the ring or something. I don't know, but yeah,
again, cracking driving from both of them.
Oh, absolutely. Just Behemoth being able to stay in and not go flying out like last year, and Michael Oates just completely just constantly flipping and flipping and flipping. It was just pure insanity.
Unfortunately, Eruption is to Behemoth what the Pittsburgh Penguins are to the Washington Capitals, and none of you got that reference.
Nope, I'm British. I don't understand that.
It's hockey.
Nope.
It's hockey.
Yeah.
Oh.
But you know what? I gotta hand it. You gotta give it to the Behemoth team. Yes. They have had years upon years of bad luck and complete bullshit and complete insanity, especially after the calamity that was last year. But in the end, they made it to the grand final, and they managed to take 3rd.
Which means we won't be seeing them next series.
Oh, I want more
No.
Behemoth.
Anthony's just gonna keep coming back until he's old and gray, which...
Oh,
Given that,
yeah.
I mean-
given that he's 40, but he still looks like 20, I think that's probably going to be a while.
It's going to create a paradox, though, isn't it? Because whoever comes 3rd doesn't make it into the next series. Robot Wars isn't the same without Behemoth. Behemoth came 3rd.
You know
It's
what?
going to go in a circle.
And given the pattern, given that this is the 2nd year in a row that a runner-up has ended up taking the title, they might win next year. You never know.
You never know.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was Eruption versus Behemoth 2.0 or 2.5 if you want to include the 4-way from last year. So we move on to another grudge match, Nuts versus Carbide. And Carbide, this was when they knew, crap, we gotta do something if we're gonna face
Hey,
Nuts.
Tim, this is how you make a nut buster.
Just stick a piece of metal in front of the belt, the chain, just protect it.
Cleaved off of Rapid, no less.
Yes.
I just love the fact that it's Nuts 2 that caused 2 of the most deadliest spinners in the UK to make adjustments to their robot. Like,
I think the secret is that Nuts 2 is the deadliest spinner in the UK.
Yeah. But Carbide was just like, okay, I've had enough of you horrid, awkward thing, you little bugger. I'm gonna come over there and tear you apart. And you know what? It pretty much did just that. It just...
one of its first big hits, it tore off one of Nuts' arms.
Yeah. But you know what? Nuts just...
That was I gotta say, whoever had to edit the slow-mo for that, it was at such a great angle where it looks like part of Nuts' ring was just flying right at the camera.
Tis but a scratch.
A scratch? Your arm's off!
And to be fair, Nuts, too, just kept on spinning with that one chain until finally Carbide got another hit in, and finally the Melty Brain just died. Just one wheel broke. It was like Carbide finally got its revenge.
Nuts having some kind of a little spasm at the end of it. Like, the wheel was getting caught on the chain, the rope was kind of erratically moving, and it just died entirely. And it was...
I think what happened to Nuts was like, I think it's speed. I don't know if it was its... I'm going to ask Roy this when I talk to him, but I think it was his... I want to say speed controller that went, and then obviously there was no control left.
I think it must have been like one of the it was one of the wheels. It looks like got dinged pretty badly, and
oh no, the whole front came off. The whole front of Nuts came off. I've seen Nuts since, and Nuts 2 since, and there was not much there. I think because originally they said, oh yeah, do you want to do the international special to Nuts, and they were like, yeah, sure, and then it got carbided.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't think that was going to happen.
Comic and Bulldog Breed in the original series.
Yeah.
Although Carbide managed to get its revenge on the mini-bot by just...
a la
apart.
Series 8, yeah. Did exactly the same thing it did in Series 8.
it
was
broke the flipper. No, the floor flipper.
Broke the robot, wheel.
Broke everything.
It was just like, as soon as it finished with Nuts, it turned to the mini-bot and just went, you!
Pesky little thing.
Yes. It was fantastic, and so Carbide gets the win, and we get a rematch of the final from last year. And going in, I was a little skeptical. I thought, oh no, this is just going to be a complete repeat of last year's grand final. Oh, how wrong I was!
I too thought that it was going to be a foregone conclusion that either Carbide is going to take out Eruption in less than 60 seconds, or Eruption is going to flip Carbide out of the arena in less than 60 seconds. Instead, we got Hypnodisc versus Bigger Brother Mark II.
Yeah, in a way.
I think, it was more similar to the Apollo versus Carbide final in Series 8. It was just a great scrap, wasn't it?
Except both robots' weapons were working fully this time around.
I think this is easily, from my point of view anyway, the best final ever.
I've just done
that's true.
I've just done the maths in my head. This is the 4th time these two have come together in 2 series.
Yep.
And,
They competed.
Still not as many times as Apollo and Carbide have fought, though.
True.
Yeah, because Apollo and Carbide have fought 5 times. Eruption and Carbide have fought 4.
Yeah. Actually, I don't know what made Eruption more durable this time compared to every other encounter.
It charged in head first. That's what it did.
Carbide didn't hit a wheel. That's the only reason why. In fairness, I think it could have lasted in the heat. It's just that it got a wheel, whereas this time it didn't.
Something must have come over the head of Michael Oates, saying like, "Okay, he knows that my sides are vulnerable. It's a risk, but I'm gonna attack him head on." And his gamble paid off big time.
Yeah. Carbide started smoking.
Yep, I believe that was the motor. That big, reliable motor they've been using for the past year finally gave up on them.
Their weapon was still spinning, though. That was the thing. And it still got some good hits on Eruption.
But it definitely didn't have as much power as it used to.
Apparently, another thing that was cut was Carbide, after the fight, was stuck on.
Oh, jeez.
So
it pulled an evader?
Yeah, but like obviously they could remove the link, unlike the Americans who don't have removable links.
We have Dean's plugs.
Carbide got stuck on at the end because it was so badly damaged.
Yeah, but and God bless Carbide, but you know what? It's always good to see a new champion. Like with Chaos, we have robots like Chaos 2 and Panzer who have been able to retain their title, but it's always good to see someone else get a chance to hold the trophy at the end. And Eruption, Michael Oates has won virtually every event in the UK, but he's never won the Robo Wars title. Now he has. He's won virtually everything to win.
No, he has won everything. He's won every single featherweights. He's won
more hardware for his cabinet.
Yeah, he's probably gonna have to get a new cabinet because the one he has now is probably too small to hold everything.
Yeah, I think ultimately you look at Eruption now, and I think, is this the best robot ever to have competed in Robot Wars? I mean, Carbide and Eruption are the top two doggies, aren't they? Really?
Yeah.
You look at Series 8, Eruption were really unlucky not to win its heat. I think probably would have won its heat had their decision against Storm 2 gone the other way. I think it probably would have made the final. Probably would have been top 2 again.
Maybe. Yeah, but this. It's tough to pick what is the best fight of this episode because there were so many good fights. I think this was the best fight of this episode.
I say that's the best fight of the series.
True, because I think the best fights for me are always the ones that go back and forth, like just two behemoths, so to speak, beating the ever-living crud out of one another, just trying to get that advantage. And towards the end, when it went to a judge's decision, it was like, you know what? This could go either way, because Carbide, obviously they were having weapon troubles at the end, but they could have gotten the win on damage. But
Eruption was the one. They were staying in there. They were being more aggressive. They were taking hits, and more importantly, they had better control over their robot.
Yeah, they were getting all those flips in, and it was like it could have gone either way. And then when finally the decision was called and Eruption got the victory, it was like you can
see how much that meant to him, couldn't you? Really, like
absolutely.
That was he was almost in tears, bless him, Michael. I think it's nice to have that human side of things. Clearly,
can I
last
just say
series
this?
hurt him. Yeah, go on.
I don't get too emotional when I watch sporting events. I mean, I do get happy when my team scores, and I get disappointed when my team gets beaten. But I'm unafraid to say that I cried at once Eruption were announced as the winners.
It's okay to cry. Cry lets all the sadness or happiness out.
Also, fun fact, Eruption is now the only champion to not win their heat to win the series.
Oh, that's
what
true.
a story that was.
What a story, Mark.
Well, as I can't remember who said it earlier, but like as you said, the runner-up of the last two series has gone on to win the next series, so that means Carbide or whatever comes next after Carbide that they hinted might be a new machine coming.
I say
they're going to win next year then?
It must be Behemoth. It's been too long.
Been too long.
Can I say one other thing as well? It's very smarky kind of thing to say that somebody deserves a championship, but
yeah.
Honestly, with everything he went through in this series and him just winning all these events on the live circuit, not since Panic Attack has a Robot Wars champion earned it like Michael Oates did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's one of the best drivers. He's built an absolute monster. It's like you look at Eruption from a glance. It's a small robot. It's
a wedge flipper.
It's a wedge flipper, but it's got a lot of power. Michael Oates is hands down, I'd say, the best driver in the UK, maybe even the entire world. Because
we'll see how he does it. Well, if he ever decides to go to Robo Games, we'll have to see how that statement holds up.
I'd like to see him fight Original Sin. I think he might have a chance. Just keep on flipping. But yeah, just he absolutely deserved it.
But I think we could all agree, though, because they lost to Two-Headed Death Flamingo. Basically, we're going to win Series 11. I mean,
you are the unofficial champions.
No, we're not. We're not in any way, shape, or form.
Oh man, I'd love to see that.
Oh yes, Two-Headed Death Flamingo.
I have never laughed this. Actually, no, I haven't laughed this hard at a robot fight since I saw a undercutting spinner lose to a pizza box.
Oh yes. Or if you want to be even more sadness, my robot lost to a SpongeBob SquarePants pinata once because my battery exploded on me. So yeah, but yeah. So Jim, what did you think?
I thought this final is definitely it's personally my favorite battle of this entire series, in my opinion. It's definitely, I mean, it's up there with fights in the series, including like Apollo versus Behemoth was also one I also really love. Yeah. But this one, it was so great to see. And again, as I said, it felt like they kind of won everything but a main Robot Wars series championship, and to see it win was, I mean, you saw the emotion in Michael Oates' face. It was just he wanted it badly.
Yeah, I think he wanted it more than the Carbide guys did. I think that's why they won.
Yeah, particularly because of last series as well, when essentially getting beaten by them twice last series, and it's like this time, they almost just made it in this series, and then getting through the Rumble, getting through another grand final, and then finally coming back again. And then again, the start of the match felt like it was similar to last time. Carbide was hitting them, Eruption was deflecting them. Eventually, thought, it was going to break down sooner or later, or they're going to get a good hit, but no, it went the opposite way around, and it was just. It was very similar to Series 8, where Carbide was running away by the end of it, and Eruption was more dominant at the end, and it was great. I've never been so happy watching Robot Wars in this moment, honestly, because I just really wanted I wanted to see something other than Carbide do well, you know what I mean? And it was nice to see, of all robots to beat him, I think Eruption was the one that had to do it.
It was the right one, wasn't it?
Definitely.
That was a beautiful feature.
Owain, any last words?
This episode is definitely up there with some of the best episodes in Robot Wars history, in my opinion, and a lot of other people's opinions. Every fight was good. The fact that Nuts 2 and Behemoth made top 4 of the series is insane in itself. The standing ovation Nuts had when it came out of the arena losing the Carbide, I thought was just really cool. The final was epic. I'd say it's the best final of the rebooted series, probably even of the entire series that we've had.
I'd agree with you there, man.
Carbide going out like that, it was a fitting end to the most destructive robot in Robot Wars history. The opening fights were good. The Robot Rumble was insane. There was the only bad thing I'd say about it was the fact that we saw the Fog of War 3 times in one fight.
And we saw it, I don't know, a grand total of 7 times the entire episode. If you want to include Rapid's little smoke screen in the middle.
That's 7 too many Fog of Wars. But like I said, Rapid getting absolutely annihilated. And I'm not the biggest fan of Rapid, but I hate to see any robot get annihilated. But they took it in stride, and that was awesome. It was just a really, really good episode. I have very little bad I can say about this. 9.5 out of 10.
And how about you guys? On a scale of 1 to 10, what would you rate this episode?
Easy 10. Easy 10.
Jim?
Same here. I'll give it a solid 10 as well, yeah.
I'll give it a 10, too.
I'll get more solid than that.
I'm going to give it a perfect 10 as well.
The Ty Dillinger 10.
I just think, you look at this episode, as I said earlier on, there's nothing where you just think, oh, that was a bit rubbish, wasn't it? Every single moment was just like spot on, wasn't it?
The editing was phenomenal too.
Yep.
Yeah, because usually, like, Robot Wars is notorious for editing shit out. Even to this day, I've noticed they've made some edits. But, for the most part, the editing was very well done. In most of the series, pretty much. I think they did a really good job. Mm-hmm. I still question the Will Thomas face, but...
that was a bonus. That was a bonus.
But, yeah, the Series 10... While I do think there were some bad hiccups, like... Series Heat 5 of which had some pretty bad matches, and personally, and God bless the push to exit team, I thought the push to exit expulsion fight was the worst one of the series. But you know what?
Compared to everything else, though,
it was just, this is fantastic. It's just so good to see Robot Wars back, and I hope it keeps continuing. Mm-hmm. And you know what? I heard it got a million viewers, so it must continue.
Considering it's against Blue Planet and the X Factor, which are like two really big shows over here, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, but
I mean, it's hard to believe going back from the classic series when literally you had 4 robots in the grand final and tons of padding. No matter how good the battles were, you'd end up getting a lot of recaps of the previous series and stuff to fill up the hour. While this was something.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's the end, because apparently there's an international special coming up in a couple weeks.
Woo.
And so featuring a few machines. I hear there are a few returns, so we're looking to see who might make the return.
Can we say a furry robot's name?
Ooh.
I don't think we can. I think we'll just leave that one for now. I think is probably the safest option.
No spoilers yet. We're gonna have to wait and see who may appear.
I know some things.
Yeah, I know some things. I hear Fuzzy made his debut there, but which may explain all the Team Toad stickers, but we don't know.
And it all ends with the music of Queen.
Oh yes.
Who wants to live forever? Who wants to live forever?
I was half expecting them to play "We Are the Champions," although that might be a bit gimmicky. Too obvious. Just play a different Queen song. So
It's still a perfect ending, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This was great. And it's just so much fun.
Goosebumps right now.
I just hope that we get to see another series.
Yeah.
I needed a cigarette after this episode.
I need.
There's no smoking on this podcast.
No,
Owain.
We're straight edge. No smoke, no drink, no drugs.
Oh,
Robot Wars is my drug.
Mine
So
too.
you think I'm not allowed to inject the marijuanas?
You know they are actually legalizing marijuana in some states, so
Our state could be next.
This podcast has taken a very severe turn.
I'll probably get a yellow copyright or not a copyright claim, but a flag just for mentioning drugs.
A yellow card.
A yellow card, but I actually got yellow flagged for the last episode. I have no idea why. Maybe from all the cursing or just having the word war in the title. I don't know.
Trust me, my first time on the Hardcore podcast, and I give you guys a yellow card.
Really? Is this? I
My
don't know.
first time on Hardcore podcast.
Wow. But yeah, that pretty much covers everything. So
If this is the final series of Robot Wars, and I know that we've got some specials coming up, but this series will have ended on the highest note as possible.
yeah, this is.
Oh
the
yeah,
peak.
completely agree.
But you know what? We still have live shows. We still have Extreme Robots, Robots Live, the Antweight World Series, Robo Games, Motorama, Bot Blast. The sport is not dead. Right now, it's still going as strong as possible.
It's going through a renaissance.
It is. And you know what? It's still better than Megabots. I'm sorry, but it is.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. It's still better than Robot Combat League.
Oh, that was a train wreck.
You should do that with... You should get Route... You should do a show with that on... Okay. Take 3. You should do an episode of TV Trash with Rowdy on that thing.
Yeah. But, you know what? It's, even if the show might be ending or not, we're still going to be doing podcasts. we might be doing reviews of the international series.
We might do stuff that's not related to robot combat.
Because every episode of the classic series is on YouTube now. I just finished uploading Extreme Warriors, so if you guys want to do reviews of them, you're always welcome to.
It's certainly an option.
Yeah, I'm definitely planning on that in the future anyway. At some point,
probably Mr. Psycho's going to review it too.
Probably, yeah. I'm sure he's got. I mean, between us, we've got plenty of material to go through.
Absolutely.
Yep.
I've been playing my own series. I just got to figure out how to edit videos.
Movie Maker.
Just
Yep.
use.
I love Movie Maker. It's amazing.
Well, you can. You could always. I don't know if Corel Studio is free or not. I'll have to look. But that's what one of my favorite YouTubers uses for his videos.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but so
These podcasts are educational.
yeah, absolutely.
So, apparently.
What? Learn a thing too.
Anybody? Did you say anything? Something, Owain?
I said, watch us. You might learn a thing or two. They're educational.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh. Ooh.
So, any final shout-outs?
I have a shout out actually. I want to shout out to the Good Rebuttal podcast. Because they are a very recent addition to the flood of Robot Wars content on YouTube, which is not a bad thing. Obviously, Harry and Charlie are the forefronters. They've got an episode up at the moment. I don't know if there'll be a link or not. I don't know. I can get a link for it if not. But yeah, go and follow them on Twitter if you can. Good Rebuttal, love the name. I'm on an episode. I'm on for the concussion episode, and I think I might be on the international special whenever they do that as well in the future.
Yay.
But
are they on SoundCloud? Because they only have one video on their channel.
I know, yeah, they've only got that one. They've only got episode A so far. They're trying to, because I think they're doing B and C together, so
Okay.
they're doing that. And then I don't know, but if not, I'll ask them if they're going to search SoundCloud, because I do that. So
My only shout out really is to the great work that the TV crew of Robot Wars have done this time around. I think Series 9 fell a bit flat, and I think this has just really got it back on its form.
Owain?
I want to do a shout out. I know we know if you watch Robot Wars and you don't know this.
I have no idea what you're
Yeah,
saying.
you're a little quiet, Owain.
I said I want to do a shout out. I know we follow this group, but if you don't and you love Robot Wars, follow Robot Wars Shunt posting on Facebook.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
that's great.
Shunt posting, if you like memes and the spiciest of memes, and you like just taking pot shots at the show, but also doing it in a loving way, go to Shunt posting, because honestly, you'll never find a weirder bunch of people that are the best people in the world as well. I mean,
that Anchorman meme that they just created, that was the best one I've ever seen.
I used it on my thumbnail for my review of the series, and also it's perfect. It's one of the greatest bits of media ever.
So I got my opening quote for this. Intergenerational
Yeah.
podcast.
So that's
Also go and watch my episode, because I don't know, just go and watch it.
yeah, Jim managed to get his episode out like lightning quick. And,
I work fast.
yeah,
I do.
I'm probably gonna have this episode uploaded maybe tomorrow. I still have to go back and edit it. So, but fortunately, it shouldn't be too bad. We didn't have any technical hiccups, and hopefully, my microphone quality wasn't scorching loud as it sometimes is.
Sounds fine on my end.
All right.
Hopefully, I didn't destroy everyone's ears.
No, everything's good. So,
Yeah.
I would like to give a big thank you to Sam for basically coming up with this whole podcast thing. Yes.
I don't know. Like when I did the first one, and I just thought, no one will watch this. Oops, I did a thing.
And then it happened, and Jim obviously for keeping it going, spreading the love.
Spreading the love of the classic series and also raging at series 2 was always fun. So it was worth it.
It's always good hearing you guys going off on bots. The Binky rant, I think, is the best.
What even was Binky?
No, you haven't waited until you've seen the Draven rant, the Twister rant, and the Dr. Fist rant.
Oh,
those are the ones.
I've got
those...
the Twister rant.
Oh no, you're not going to beat my Dr. Fist rant though.
I got the Napalm rant for that tag team terror match because that was the first time I ever saw Napalm, and I'm like, what is this shit?
Oh dear God, I'm recording this week's episode, and it's got the Draven and the Armed Forces stuff.
Were you able to get a hold of Simon Harrison?
I'm not sure yet because his episode with he's gonna be in the episode with the King B 101 grudge match, so that's not happened yet.
That's the one I'm in too, isn't it?
I think so. If I'm gonna give him a heads up soon. So he says he's interested. So it depends if he can get the timing right and stuff.
Alrighty.
So
You guys want to talk about rants? Just wait until I see Maximus's appearance in the new.
Oh my God!
What robot?
Jesus.
Maximus, the forward flipper that moved at like 2 miles an hour.
Oh,
And
God.
and has a disc on the flipper, so it can't really flip or anything properly.
Like top of the flipper, so it it fell on his back.
Yeah, but yeah, that pretty much covers everything, and we'll do our final thoughts on Robo Wars Series 10 later on this week. We'll have those two other guys, I believe you mentioned. So,
Luke and Nick from the Robot Wars
Luke
History
and Nick,
podcast.
the young bucks of the podcast world. So,
Old wizened hands like me don't do that thing.
but, yeah, I would like to give a big thank you to all you guys, to all the people listening, all the Robot Wars fans, all the Roboteers, and all the Roboteering guests that we managed to have on the show. Craig Danby, Vote Saxon, Shane Swan. Who else did we have?
We had Tim from Concussion. Tommy Brewster.
That was a lot of fun.
Hashtag pray for Tommy.
Yes. You know what? He did make it to the
you
final in
had
this live
the-
show.
You had the Tom Brewster on.
Yes, we did. Well,
The
kinda,
Tom
because
Brewster.
he was having all kinds of connection issues, so
yeah.
he kept cutting out.
And we also had Dave Weston and Craig Collius on.
Yes, so this has been a phenomenal series, I think.
Oh, yeah.
It's been a blast, and we hope to get more Roboteers on in the future.
Maybe do some Q&A with them.
Yes, absolutely. We got to hold of Simon Harrison, so maybe if he does appear in Series 11, because he's actually going to Robo Games. He's got a brand new version of King B, so that should be really fun.
Yay!
Nate's marking out. So.
I want to say a quick thank you to you guys as well.
Yep.
As guys allowed me to be on your shows. I'm on Sam Elliott's yet, but hopefully in the future.
Yeah. So.
As someone who didn't have any experience with podcasting or reviews or anything, you could have easily just said no to me and told me to just watch, not say anything.
Hey, you're an invaluable asset to the Roboteering community.
It was your way to have you instead of Alex the Hunted hogging up everybody's spots.
And also once again apologize for spoiling the Rumble.
You nudnik.
Actually, Jim, I need to say this now. You spoiled who won the series for me.
Yeah.
I just looked
sorry.
I just looked at the thumbnail of your video and I'm like, oh god damn it, Jim! I just come home from work and you tell me who wins it.
Yep. So.
Thanks, Pally.
Yeah. And
Hashtag blame Jim.
Automatic here.
hello, JimJamatic here.
Hello, JimJamatic here.
I love you made me sound way posher than I actually am.
And
I like
because you were unable to be in last week's episode, please do Steven's impression.
I'm gonna wait until Steven's at. I'm gonna wait until I'm actually on a podcast with Steven to do it.
Yes.
I'm sure it'll happen eventually.
Robot Wars fans. That's my best Irish impression.
I just do Lucky Charms elf when I do Irish. I don't do proper Irish.
I'll give you one impression I can do. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is SamElliott64 here, and
God
welcome
damn it.
to another episode of the RoboCast.
God damn it.
It's funny because it's terrible.
That's stellar. That's stellar.
Not as bad as my impression of Dara from a couple episodes ago.
All you have to do is and that's it. You do nothing else in Dara, and that's if you can do that, that's it. You're fine.
I'm not very good at impressions, but I do have one that I do at every Comic-Con I do. If I see a Black Butler cosplayer, I will instantly go, "Hey, Bessie!"
Well, this was exciting.
This was a blast.
This is worth the wait.
We have reached the hour and 20 minutes mark, and we must do our sign-offs. So, thank you to everyone. But until the next time, until my next review or podcast, I am the Hardcore Kid.
And I'm Otaku Nate.
I've been SamElliott64.
JimJamatic.
I'm the 10th jester.
Saying peace out and cease.
Sign the sound the fanfare, cue the applause. We've crowned another champion on Robot Wars. Bye-bye!